Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari orders immediate voluntary evacuation of those willing to return home as 640 Nigerians indicate readiness to leave South Africa. Inspector General of Police cautions Islamic movement in Nigeria against planned procession, insists group remains proscribed from terrorism acts. Election Petitions Tribunal pull off surprise verdicts against sitting National Assembly lawmakers. Senate Chief Whip urges Dakolo prominent on the list of those whose elections were nullified. And UK Parliament to suspend sittings ahead of snap elections, just as Speaker John Bercow announces resignation. For more information on our top stories, do visit our website, channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of all our shows. Now, here are some of the pictures that you sent into our Eyewitness portal. We can share some with you now, starting with this one from the Akbongbong area of Lagos, showing a commercial bus, which our Eyewitness says was involved in an accident on the bridge. According to our Eyewitness, the accident resulted in a gridlock, and he says he was stranded for several hours, getting to work late. Next is this one from Ijede Road in Ikorodu, still here in Lagos. It shows a gridlock on that axis of the state. Now, he frowned, that's our Eyewitness, on having a hard time in that area. He wants the state government to do something about it. Our final picture is from Warri, Delta State, showing this flooded road. Eyewitness reports that this happens whenever it rains, and according to him, it's what they go through. He wants the government to do something about it. For all your pictures, thanks a lot. Do send us some more. It's the beginning of another working week here in Lagos, which typically witnesses the upsurge of traffic as workers go back to their duties. But this time, the volume of traffic appeared to have been increased as some school children resumed from the long holiday. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Hello, Ejema. It's good to see you. Now, Governor Biodun Obaseki signed first set of law. That is a bill passed by the 7th State Assembly into law. The lawmakers who passed the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources bill were led by the Speaker, Frank Okie, to submit the bill to Governor Biodun Obaseki for his assent. The governor describes the signing of the first bill as a significant development in helping to concretize his administration's desire to broaden the economic base of the state and job creation for the youths.
Your Excellency, appreciating the responsibilities at our disposal, the House has made consideration of the bill, and we're going through the first reading, and in the second reading, members supported the initiative because they had to speak on the merits and the demerits of the bill, which is the general principle of the bill, and it was unanimously agreed that this bill is apt and is apposite. So we are pleased to communicate to you, Your Excellency, that at our end, we have successfully passed this bill and waiting for your assent, Your Excellency.
As you know, Edo State is blessed and endowed with very veritable and diversified land resources for agricultural purposes. Our land, which is almost 20 million hectares, spans swamp, rainforest, and savanna, which means that we can practically sustain every type of food crops in Edo State. But in order to take the full advantage of our agricultural endowments, we need to have the trained manpower to know what to do. And that is why we set about restructuring our colleges of agriculture, which will be the bastions, which will be the the institutions that will train both middle and high-level manpower to sustain the agricultural revolution, which we have already started.
The controversy over the rape allegations leveled against the senior pastor of Commonwealth of Zion Assembly, Koza, Biodun Fatoyinbo, by celebrity photographer Busola Dakolo is far from being over. This is because Mrs. Dakolo has sued Pastor Fatoyinbo over the rape allegation at an FCT High Court. The court, in a writ of summons dated September 6, ordered the accused to appear before it within 14 days of the service, or judgment may be given in his absence. The application filed through her lawyer, Belumi Oladegbesi and co. Mrs. Dakolo is seeking the order of the court to compel Mr. Fatoyinbo to publish a clearly worded apology to her on the front page of at least 2 national newspapers and 2 national televisions for 7 days running consecutively. Mrs. Dakolo had 2 months ago made a shocking revelation in a viral interview of how the Abuja-based cleric raped her as a teenager. And moving on to education, as part of plans to reduce the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria, especially the girl child, the United Nations is calling for adequate gender analysis in education sector planning. At a workshop on gender-responsive education sector planning, delegates from 5 states are required to determine the level of gender sensitivity in the education sector plans in their states. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa has more.
According to UNICEF, 10.5 million of Nigeria's children aged 5 to 14 years are not in school. Female attendance in primary schools in the Northeast stands at 47.7% and 47.3% in the Northwest. This pattern of educational marginalization is fueled by several factors. The one factor being examined at this education sector workshop is gender, and how stakeholders can create an education sector plan that is gender transformative.
There can be curriculum which is not welcoming to girls or boys. There can be only images, for example, in a textbook which is only showing girls as doing domestic work and not as doctors and lawyers or architects, which require more study. And so they don't see themselves in a future of work which is requiring mathematics, for example, which doesn't encourage them to study mathematics.
One of the biggest challenges faced by UNICEF is the fact that 1 in every 5 of the world's out-of-school children is in Nigeria. To change this, UNICEF is hoping for increased understanding of gender analysis in the education sector planning and including the youth in this conversation.
We are hoping that this workshop can provide a lot more insight into how the systems in these states that are participating in this meeting can do a better analysis of girls and boys issues in their place and know how to provide equitable opportunities for both genders to thrive in the education system.
The biggest challenge is people and their mindsets, growing up thinking, oh, the girls shouldn't go to school. But now we want to have a shift and a change of mindset so they embrace education and see that it's important in terms of nation building.
We're going to be focusing more on ensuring that right from the first agent of socialization, a child gets into contact with which is the family and also the society. There is a change that these people are unable to unlearn some of the patriarchal norms of the society.
This workshop will include 15 sessions aimed at ensuring there is no credible education sector plan in Nigeria without at least a gender-responsive analysis. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
And now to Kogi State, where efforts are on to rid the state of hard drugs and crime. And as part of that effort, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in that state has destroyed a 20-hectare cannabis sativa plantation, also known as Indian hemp. The NDLEA commander who spoke to newsmen during the operation said the arrest was as a result of a thorough intelligence gathering by the officers of his command on the existence of the plantation. He warned those that engage in the cultivation of illicit drug that they will face the law.
These are men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. After what seemed like an endless drive, they arrive at their destination, the residence of a man suspected to have a large farm of cannabis sativa. While the farm is not located at the 55-year-old suspect's residence, intelligence reports led the NDLEA to his house, where illegal weapons were found, which is another offence entirely.
If you give me my money, then you will take her.
He claims it is a collateral from a borrower. Other accomplices were apprehended. This is a 20 hectares Indian hemp farm located in Igalamela, Odolu local government area of Kogi State. It's a 2-hour drive from the suspect's residence. Again, he denies ownership.
The person who owns her, he get a problem, and they say he need money, so that I should keep this and give him the 80,000 naira. That after he might have solved his problem, if he come home, he will come and collect his property.
Probably unknown to the suspects, they have been on the agency's wanted list for quite a while.
We have been working on this thing for a very long time. So we monitored them, we monitored their activities, and before we now feel that now we should come before they will harvest this thing.
You go catch. All we need is to pour more.
Officials of the NDLEA later set fire to the farm after removing some of the cannabis as evidence when the suspects are eventually charged to court.
And that's all from Abuja. We'll take a break. Number one, the news at 10 returns. UK Parliament to suspend sittings ahead of snap elections. Speaker John Bercow announces resignation. That's all the international state with around the world in 5. Do join us again.